All right, so I'm Josiah, and welcome to my screencast about using UDL, or rather Universal Design Learning, in the classroom. So the guidelines that I was given, or chose rather, was Guideline 9, which is provide options for self-regulation. And the first principle is promote expectations and beliefs that optimize motivation. And when I read that, what it made me think of is like setting appropriate goals in the classroom. And so what I did was I just typed in Google SMART goal setter, and this is actually popped up, and it's an acronym using the word SMART. And I totally agree with everything that they've chosen because it really hits all the points for the UDL. And because for the UDL they want something they want students thinking about, like they need reminders and guides and rubrics and extra self-regulatory stuff. And this SMART goals thing is perfect because the whole acronym is about being specific and measurable and attainable, relevant, rigorous, realistic, timely, and trackable. So it's not so much like uh, a product so much as like just a skill or a strategy that teachers would use in their own classroom. And the only real like documentation of it working is there's like a couple examples within this article, but I really like the idea of having very specific goals. So here's an example, and they just say, so here's a goal. I will do better on my report card in the next marking period. But what SMART goals would make a student do is in the next marking period, I will take careful notes and review them at least 2 days before tests and quizzes so that I can ask the teacher questions about what I don't understand. And then it goes into more depth about very specific goals for the students. And I think it's really important for students to get good at writing these kinds of things and figuring out what it is that they are good at and what that kind of stuff. Um, and my second principle was facilitate personal coping skills and strategies. So provide differentiated models, scaffolds, and feedback for like managing student frustration and all the things that come along with possible conflicts that might arise in the classroom. And what this website is actually like a bunch of role playing scenarios for students to play out. Um, it does seem a little bit higher level. Uh, there's some deep concepts that are explored here, but I think it's really good for students to role play things in order to demonstrate what it might look like in that situation, and then think about ideas to cope in that situation. So it's like they practice getting frustrated or being frustrated, and then like a person would practice, helping them cope or helping in stuff like that. And I just thought it was really interesting because like role play isn't really necessarily thought of. People just think of like, this is what you must do for conflict resolution, rather than like, maybe let's have the students act it out and see how they'd actually feel in a situation. So I thought that was really awesome. I think, let's see, as well as this is another coping skills website, or a little blog that this woman put together, and it just has different things that students could actually use in the classroom. So like tactile things like Play-Doh, stress balls. Although I've seen those in my classes, and those are awesome. Sometimes people just need something to, hang on to. Look at finger crochet, doodling, Zen doodles. Yes, I've heard of Zen doodles. Mandala coloring books, things that just, there are lots of different ways for students to cope with situations, and it's really up to them to figure out what works for them. And I think that like having multiple strategies like this, as well as like role playing multiple different things, can just be so helpful for them. And for my last principle, I had it's develop self-assessment and reflection. And on the UDL website, I saw like this blogger thing, and so like I thought that was an awesome idea. This is a blogger for students, and it would be like between the students and the teacher, and there wouldn't be like a lot of it wouldn't be shared with anyone. It would just be between the student and the teacher, and it would be a spot for them to express, you know, their feelings about their learning, as well as an opportunity. Like you can post on Blogger, you can post as the teacher different like self-assessments, and just ways for the student to think about the way that they've been learning. And you could do it, and you could do it different for every student too. It wouldn't have to be the same for the whole class, because each student would have their own blog. I mean, that'd be a lot of work, but if you're trying to help your students do their best, a lot of times it requires more work. So and it gives the student the ability to receive feedback from the teacher, and it could be a very personal thing, and it doesn't have to be as personal too. So um, I just think it's a great way for students to get their feelings out there and not have to do it in front of a teacher, and not have to do it around their classmates, and they don't have to worry about their classmates getting involved. Oh yeah, this is free, and this is free as well. This is just informational, as well as this. These are all free, and this is free as well. These are all just ideas that people have come up with, and I just think that's fantastic that they're just like coming up with ideas. I mean, obviously, if you bought homemade stress balls, you would have to pay for those to make them and such. But this information is all free. Same with Edgaged. If you wanted to have, it looks like storage restrictions is like the only thing that you might encounter with Blogger. But yeah, other than that, that's my UDL. Creating different ways for students to think about how they learn, and self-regulation for students is huge, because that's how we turn into like adults. That's a big thing about being an adult, is being self-regulated. So yeah, I think that's pretty much wraps it up. Thanks for taking a look.